Just student athletes first. We'll get. Okay, this when they may ask you individually a question. If they ask a question for both of you, let me call on you so that the transcribers know who's talking. But otherwise, if they call on you, then they'll pick that up. So, okay, I think everybody in here, with except the gentleman in the front, has been here before. So, very briefly, if you have a question, raise your hand. Susan will bring you a microphone so that we can be sure and get everything transcribed. And with that, we'll go ahead and start.
Well, congratulations on making the tournament. What have you learned about Nebraska for both players?
Go ahead, Abby, start.
Yeah, no, they're definitely a very good team. We're super excited. They have some shooters, a big-time post player, so we're definitely going to have to fly around. But I think our defense is ready. We'll get ready today. And, yeah, we're excited for the matchup.
Sarah?
Yeah, they like to push in transition. They like to they're a good rebounding team. Like Abby said, they're a good overall team. I think it'll be a good matchup, and I'm excited to play them.
It's kind of a clash of styles between you and the Cornhuskers. They're a really talented offensive team. Like you said, they like to push the ball. You guys, I know, pride yourself on defense. Does that change your approach at all versus maybe going against a team that also likes to play lockdown defense?
Sarah?
I don't think it really changes our approach. I think it just forces us to take care of the ball, value every possession, whether that be offensively or defensively. Defensively, knowing personnel, know who you're guarding, know who we're rotating to. And then offensively, just doing what we do each day, run our stuff, get good possessions, good shots, and just go from there.
Abby?
Yeah, I think we prepare every game defensively for the matchups. So I think we'll definitely still be locked in, like always, on that. And then do what we do on offense. Yeah, nothing really changes.
For either player, they have a very talented guard, Jaz Shelley, who's does a lot of everything. Very versatile player. How do you control somebody and limit somebody like that who can do so many things?
Abby?
Yeah, I think she is very good. She can score at multiple levels. And so just keying in on her, everyone needs to know where she is. But it takes all of us. I think that's what we've kind of done all year, guarded their best players for every team we've played together and doing it as a team. So that's definitely still our focus. Tomorrow we'll stop her as a team of Zags.
Sarah?
I think Abby covered it. Just got to key on her, know where she's at all times, whether that be in transition, in the half court, whatever it may be. And like Abby said, it's a team effort and just working together as a unit to make sure that we can key on her.
Nebraska talked about how you guys are a balanced team on offense. You really don't have a one player who's going to fill it up. You kind of all can score. Do you worry at all, maybe under the lights of the of March Madness, feeling a little bit of pressure and maybe someone might try and play out of their game a little bit and maybe force the issue a little bit?
Abby?
No, I think that's what we do pride ourselves on. That's what we do best, playing together, sharing the ball. That's kind of the Zag way. And so I think we have a lot of veterans on our team, and I think we're all excited to just play our game.
Sarah?
Like Abby said.
We'll let you go first that time.
Like Abby said, I do also think that, we're a team that works together. I don't really think anybody's going to have the urge to really take over the game or try to do something out of their comfort zone or what they're not used to doing. I think we're going to play together, do what we do what we do each day in practice and preparation, and just come together.
Other questions?
Yeah, shifting gears a little bit. There's a new logo behind you from last year. Can you talk in the context of last year, and you guys were both in Texas, and how does this tournament maybe or maybe not feel a little different in terms of how you guys are being treated as human beings and female athletes?
Sarah?
Yeah, I just think it's awesome for us women to be able to see that, we work just as hard as the men do. We do the same things that the men's teams do. It's nice to be able to share the same logo and not, have differences. But I think at the end of the day, it comes down to the basketball piece and just going out and doing what we came here to do and play our game. But it is nice for me to be able to see the same logo and share the same thing as the men's team.
Abby?
Yeah, I think like Sierra said, like it's cool to be here the first year too. That things are changing, and kind of being a part of that is a cool experience. So I think we're all just excited to be here. And yeah, like C said, we do the same things the guys do. So it's nice to be treated equally.
So have you gotten your swag bags yet?
We have not.
No.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Dying to hear what those look like. Okay.
Any other questions?
Matt Coatney, Huskers Radio Network. Excited to see you guys play tomorrow. And when I look at your rebounding numbers, it's very impressive. Over 10 rebounds per game as a margin, as a team. What does your coach do to make you guys such a great team rebounding unit?
Sierra?
Well, we do this thing called rebounding effort, and we get graded on it individually for each game. And I think that's really helped us, take pride in taking care of business on the one-on-one checkouts. And if you have somebody who doesn't rebound, getting in there and helping double whoever their big rebounder is. And I think, we've prided ourselves on that every day in practice. We do drills to focus on rebounding. And then in the games, again, we just really focus on that. And if they're getting a lot of offensive rebounds, our coaches will come into timeouts or halftime and say that we got to rebound better. So that is a big focus for us.
Abby?
Yeah, I mean, we do rebounding drills every day. It's a big focus of what we do. It's been an identity of our team and a lot of the teams in the past. That's kind of just what the Zags do. We rebound. So, yeah, just a big focus. We love the rebounding drills, Lise.
Yep,
Don't worry.
they're great.
Hey, you.
This is for both of you. Obviously, this is a great way to end the season, especially if you could go on a deep run. But does it mean more to you guys with this being your final years?
Abby?
Yeah, definitely. This is the last time for both of us, last time for me. So I'm just excited to get to keep playing with these girls. It's been such a fun year. So excited to see what we do.
Sarah?
Also very excited to be here. Just excited to be able to finish out my actual last year at the NCAA Tournament. And again, like Abby had said earlier, being able to be the first year that we get to share the March Madness thing too.
Any other questions? Okay, we have a question from Brianna Green of KREM on Zoom.
Hi, Sarah and Abby. Just wanted to ask you guys, what you learned from the experience last year. Obviously, that was just a highly emotional game afterwards. Jill was absolutely despondent on the media interview. So just what did you guys kind of learn from that experience, and how are you taking that into this tournament?
Abby?
Yeah, obviously, for all the veterans back, none of us forget what happened last year. We were obviously disappointed to have lost that one, but I think for most of us, it's really just made us more focused, more ready to go. I think we will be really locked in. We're very excited about the Nebraska matchup, but I think just being super focused on the task at hand is what we're keyed in on.
Sarah?
Yeah, I just think it really shows that putting an emphasis on even the smallest things, a throwaway possession, you can't have those, not in the NCAA tournament, because it's a one and done, and this is really crunch time, and everything really matters. Missing that box out, they get an offensive rebound, they get 2 points. So even just the small things just show that it really matters.
Any other questions from the floor? Okay, ladies, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Coach, if you'd like to have an opening statement, and then we'll move to questions.
Sure. They did a good job of not saying anything that was going to get on anyone's whiteboard, so that's good. We're excited to be here. You know, I listened to all the questions that you guys asked about the March Madness and what this year's like, and those guys are 6th and 5th year seniors. So I think this is an interesting NCAA tournament because you have a lot of people in their same situation who are, you know, getting their last shake at it or hoping for something that's more traditional, you know, an exciting experience with fans in the stands. And I think it's been an enhanced experience with what the NCAA has committed to, or, you know, at least we've been told. And so far what we've seen, it's hard to compare based on last year because last year was so different. So it's not like there's weight rooms at the gyms and things like that. But as far as the matchup goes, you know, I think every draw is tough, and you can find the positives and the areas you can be strong, and you can look at what the areas are that you're going to need to have extra focus, and that's what every year it is. So I think no different this year. Nebraska's a really good team who I think we have areas where we can be strong and areas where if we don't maintain focus, we're going to struggle. But we're excited to be here and looking forward to seeing how our team responds tomorrow.
Okay, questions?
Well, I asked the players the same question. Jaz Shelley is obviously an outstanding player for Nebraska, very versatile. And how do you deal with somebody who can drive, shoot, and just do just about everything?
Yeah, I mean, Paisley Johnson, Harding, Shaylee Gonzalez, those are the ones we've played most recently, who've been able to do a little bit of all of it. And it's just everything that we do. Jim, and you're more familiar with this than some of the other people in the room, but everything we do, the only way I really know how to do it is to do it together. And that's just been a recipe for success for us. Based on my coaching staff, you know, I need their help coming up with the plans. I'm not the mastermind. We do it together. And we've got good defenders on our team, but none of them are probably best if they're just going one-on-one with a player. And so I think that what they said is true. We do it together. So you have to make sure that you're positioned properly. You have to know where she is to start with. You have to slow her down in transition because, you know, she will not stop if you don't stop her. She's really good at change of pace and just kind of keeping the ball alive and finishing around the rim. Obviously, if you lose her, then she's a very capable three-point shooter. She's a good rebounder. She's a tough player to defend. And I think that we would be doing ourselves a disservice if we left anyone out on an island and expected them to do it alone. So awareness, locating her early, and then positioning properly around her so that they have help if they so need it is the best way we know how to stop her, or try. Slow her down, we should say.
Okay, good.
Both the players mentioned that, you know, they didn't think anyone was going to try and play outside of themselves and, you know, put up a 30-point game and kind of stick to what you guys have done all season. Is that something that you gave them as a message or just something that was kind of understood within the team?
Well, I don't know if I have the same confidence as they do in that one in particular, but that is certainly what we talk about a lot. We talk about that we're better when we're moving the ball. Whoever mentioned that Nebraska had said that we're balanced, and we are balanced. And we didn't have a single player of the week in our conference because we never had anybody score enough points, I guess. I don't know how they choose it. And that's because we share the ball and work together when we're at our best. And I think in the times where we struggle is when we deviate from that a little bit, and that's certainly not in the game plan. I think we're definitely best when we're letting it come to us. We're finding our open teammates. If we draw help, great. If we can go one-on-one against the matchup, then great. But we're designed for team play, and I hope that they're right. I just am a coach, so I'm paranoid about everything, right?
Coach Matt Coatney, Huskers Radio Network. It'll be a pleasure to see your team tomorrow. I've been trying to find a difference in your wonderful twin guards. I'm wondering how long did it take you to be able to tell the difference between this one may be a better three-point shooter in these situations, or this one may handle a pass better, because they just seem to both have such a tremendous skill set. Are they really that identical on the floor, or what really are the differences?
Yeah, I mean, those suckers showed up in the same jersey yesterday and tried to convince me that one was the other one. they're juniors. I know the difference. Jill Townsend, she was a little sketchy. Peyton might not know the difference, but I know the difference. When we recruited them, it was tough to tell, right? And we've had twins on our team before, and so sometimes they each make 2 or 3 threes, and you're like, holy smokes, they can't miss. And you're like, well, actually, they each just had 2 or 3, right? So it's nice, but it's not a ton. Or same thing happens negatively with turnovers. If they each have 2 or 3 turnovers, and you're like, gosh, whatever one, the ball is just flying everywhere. And so that part sometimes happens, but they are different. Kaylee's a little bit more physical. She's a little bit more, I would say, aggressive in traditional ways. Linny is probably a little bit more comfortable shooter. I think they're both really good passers. Lee does some things defensively that Lynn doesn't do. So they are different. There are certain parts of the game where I'm like, well, let's put your sister in that position for that one, and let's put you in your position for the other one, because there are differences. But they're talented. They're really good offensive players. They're great in ball screens. They have vision that's, not easy to teach. It's something that they've either developed long before they ever were Zags, and we're just trying to help put them in position, or worked hard at, or just been gifted with the way that they can pass the ball and see the floor. They're fun. It's nice as they've gotten older. We've had an opportunity to have them on the floor more together in the early years. And this happened with the Worth twins too. They're the same position kind of. So it's tough to whatever one shows up a little bit more or a little bit earlier in practice, improves themselves, gets a little bit more time. But as they get older, more and more time on the floor, I think it's an asset to our team because they certainly work well together and complement each other as well as they complement the rest of the team.
Additional questions from the floor?
Nebraska players and their coach talked a lot about how tough their conference is, and I know you've always stood up for the WCC, but playing tough games day in, day out, does that toughen you, or does that wear you down a little bit?
I mean, I think it probably can do either, depending on the circumstances. We talked about the rebounding numbers. I know someone's already commented on those, and they're also a really good rebounding team. They've done it against teams that are traditionally bigger, stronger. So I think that there are some of the stats, you look at in a different way, and you think, okay, well, it's one thing to rebound against, these players, which, again, I think we have good players in our conference. I think we have good teams and good coaches. I know that they're not nationally as respected as the teams that Nebraska plays every single conference game, but I think that there is a difference. I think that it probably, like I said, does a little of whatever your coach and your team, however your coach and your team respond. If you play Stanford a second time and by choice and it doesn't go well, you can either lose your confidence going into the rest of your conference play, or you can use that as a positive. And I know that their coach is smart, and obviously they've had some adversity as well throughout this year, and I think they've used it as a positive for them. So I think that night in and night out thing seems to have helped, and we'll just have to see if we can come up with something that will slow it down, stop it, counter it in a way that's in favor of us.
Everybody's talked about how balanced you are. I like watching on film Ejim when she comes into the game. She just seems to give you guys a spark. She looks to me like she could start for a lot of teams at Nebraska. You were just naming the teams that Nebraska plays. But has she embraced the role you've asked her to do? Do you ask her to do certain things when she comes in, or what do you ask her to do, and how has she embraced that role?
Yeah, well, we've had a lot of really successful interior players, and it seems like they all go through this. We're graduating one every year or two every year. And so, when Mel was a freshman, her role was just to rebound and run. And now Vonnie comes in, and she's supposed to give us energy. She can really guard anybody. She can take most people off the dribble. So she's supposed to just give us whatever spark is necessary by way of rebounding, running the floor, guarding. And she kind of gets to be, there's a Batman and Robin kind of thing, and then they move over to become Batman, it seems like, the next year. So it's a nice year for her to experience more playing time. Last year she barely played for us, and so get some playing time, get her feet wet, because both Anna and Mel are set to graduate, and then it'll be Vonnie's turn to fulfill that role. So I think she's embraced it well. I know it seems like the media and a lot of the fans talk about more the fact that we have her and Lynn coming off the bench than we do within our program. We haven't talked a lot about you should or shouldn't be doing whatever. It's what's best for our team. And There's been many years where we've started players who maybe average less points or less rebounds because it fit that group as well as we could. And I think it's a huge asset to us that we get to bring Vonnie and Lenny in off the bench, where they're certainly starter caliber. And we just always say we've got 7 starters really on our team, or more. But those guys are decisively the 6th and 7th player. So.
Any other questions? Floor? Okay, we'll go to Zoom with Brianna Green from KREM.
Lisa, first of all, it just sparked another question for me in terms of Anna Maria had a great 2 games in Vegas. If she's able to keep riding that wave, just how much does that help your team out throughout this tournament?
Well, I mean, it's a huge asset. The more players you can have who are playing well, the more weapons you can have out there on the floor. I think the more people you have to worry about as an opponent, that's good for our team. And Anna is playing really confident right now. She's been traditionally, for us, more of a rebounder and a post defender. So, she averages, I think, 4 or 6 points or something like that. And so her baskets are sometimes critical in the close games. And I think this time of year, they're all close. And all those points matter and all those rebounds matter. So I'm really glad that she's been playing so well. And happy for her. But also, I think it makes our team better.
And just, I already asked, I asked Abby and Sarah about this. I'm assuming you heard it. Do you talk about last year's game at all with this team, or do you just kind of move on? What do you take from that?
Very little. I think that there's something to be learned. But at the same time, I don't want them playing scared or worried about that. We didn't talk very much about the BYU game at BYU either, which was the season low point. Honestly, it was probably our poorest, or definitely our poorest outing. We were out of sorts. We didn't look like ourselves. And I think there's some stuff to be learned from that subtly, but at the same time, your mind is important, and we don't overdo it. So we haven't yet. I think the players are thinking about it and talking about it more than we are, and we know that. So I think our focus is on Nebraska and not on what happened last year. It's a different team, different situation. But I do know that they want to perform as well as we can. And I think last year in that game, we didn't get to the extra. When things got rough, we didn't respond well. So hopefully, when, basketball's a game of runs. So when tomorrow doesn't go our way for a few possessions in a row, hopefully we'll have a better response than we did last year.
Okay. Any questions from the floor? Okay, Coach, thank you very much.
Thank you.